So what actually counts as building a custom bike? Well, in a world where blue-collar skills are once again defining manhood and becoming cool again, it's actually always been cool, more and more often people are claiming to be custom bike builders. But did you really build a motorcycle if you put a new seat and bars on with some tassels and flame stickers? Or do you have to build a mining company and a foundry and create the bike starting with nothing but rare earth minerals to qualify? Well, that is what I'm going to be addressing today, so we can put this all to rest. So in this video, I'm going to answer the questions, what does custom mean, the truth behind the built versus bought controversy, and to draw a final line in the kitty litter, what truly counts as a custom motorcycle. This is going to be a fun one. Now, bear in mind, I've been riding and building custom motorcycles by hand, and mining my own materials and harvesting even the rubber for my own tires from the trees for over 20 years. And at this point, I don't buy anything for my bikes. I make every single thing. Max Hazen was actually my pupil, so I know a little bit about what it means to make a custom bike. One day I dream of making something this impressive. I've won absolutely 0 awards because that is for Little League and figure skating. Team Christy Yamaguchi. I'm right, you're wrong. But you know what's not wrong? Clicking the like button. It is a very tiny act of universal magic that helps the channel out so much. So click the like button and be unique like everyone else. Let's dive into this. What does custom mean? Let's establish the definition of the word and slowly unpack its etymology, its origins in Latin and other dead languages, and its first legal public use in language beginning with the late Elizabethan period. No, I'm totally you, man. That's some boring. Now, what really matters is how the word was originally used and how we arrived at its gross abuse today. So let me know in those comments what the phrase custom bike means to you. Is it totally burned out or can it still be relevant? And if you want to get really down and dirty, head on over to the Brutal Forum and join the conversation. I will drop the link below. Now, first, in the early days of motorcycling, in the 40s to early 50s, let's say, a custom bike wasn't just a style. It was a necessity and rebellion. The early custom bikes were referred to as bobbers or bob jobs. That was just a bike that had weight removed, such as removing fenders, windscreens, leather, chrome trim, some covers, bags, just ditching all the extra crap that didn't contribute to the basic functions of the bike. Now, the bikes were underpowered, and removing weight was a great way to get a better performing bike. Most of the folks doing these modifications were typically from military background at the time, and they had the mentality of, if it doesn't help, it goes. Now, they came home, looked at the civilian versions of these bikes, and were like, what the hell is that extra crap all over the bike? You know, so in the beginning, just removing was really the birth of customizing. The factor that drove this to its next evolution was money.
Money. I smell money.
Post-war economy meant most people didn't have cash. So instead of buying upgrades, they reused parts. They modified what they already had, and they built with the most basic of tools. Less shit on the bike meant less problems. Very open layouts, minimalistic components, that made the bike easier to work on too. Now, at first this was just practical, but then something started to kind of happen. No two bikes were ending up the same, and personal choices and add-ons to the bike became deeply personal signatures. Riders really began expressing themselves without trying to, and I believe that's when this quietly shifted from function to individuality to culture. Now, something that most people miss is that bobbers were not built to be custom. They were just downsized to be better. And because everybody solved that problem in a different way, they accidentally created the foundation of complete custom motorcycle culture. The bobbers weren't about style even. They were about stripping the bike to only what mattered, and that's what made them cool. So I think it's kind of funny today when someone goes, I'm building a bobber. That's a contradiction in terms. If you are going to bob a bike or make a bob job, then you just take stuff off. You don't need to build anything. I digress. So then in the 50s, custom started really appearing on the scene. Hot rod culture began to absolutely explode, and the word custom was already used for cars, and that language just carried over to motorcycles. Now, early magazines and builders began using the term custom motorcycle to describe these modified bikes. And this is about where the term started being applied, even if it wasn't universal. And there's no real one point in time when this word became a pivotal thing. It kind of crept into the motorcycling culture. But by the late 50s and 60s, the term was absolutely a standard. Chopper culture completely took off. Movies and magazines popularized the look and the language and the image of the custom bike. That all became a widely accepted term. So by the 60s, people understood that a modified bike equals a custom bike. So to bring this up to speed, the activity came first in the late 40s. The word custom followed over from car culture, that's early to mid 50s, and the term stuck during the chopper boom, which was the late 50s through the 60s and on. But in that time, the word custom really implied serious modification, because to begin with, there were no bolt-on parts. If you changed it, you had to fabricate it. So if we argue about what counts as custom today, you're really arguing about how closely we stick to the original meaning. Now, while it's virtually impossible to determine when the word custom was first applied to motorcycles, the first documented uses just started appearing in smaller magazines and early enthusiast publications, just using the phrases like custom job or custom built motorcycle. They weren't in the headlines really, but just typically buried in captions or descriptions. And this is likely the earliest verifiable use of the phrase and the term actually being applied to motorcycles. Now we're in the modern day times of expensive as hell gas and 6, 7, whatever the frick that means, here's what I think changed how the word custom is now thrown around like a hacky sack at a fish show. So let me lay out my thoughts about how I think custom changed with 5 simple points, because I still have 5 fingers and can count a little higher than the average drummer. Number 1, the aftermarket absolutely exploded. Back then, if you wanted a different bike, you had to build it. Today, you can buy bolt-on exhaust, bars, seats, full custom kits. The result is that customization became fully attainable through shopping instead of fabrication. Number 2, companies started selling custom as a product. Dealerships now offer custom packages and factory customs. OEMs literally brand bikes as custom, which is a bit of a contradiction because if thousands of identical bikes exist like this one, it's not really custom. 3, social media absolutely flattened the definition. IG, TikTok, YouTube, they reward appearance, not the process. So a bike looks different and it is labeled custom, but people rarely see the engineering and the fabrication, the problem solving. They just see that looks cool, so it's custom. Number 4, lower barrier to entry. This is not necessarily a bad thing, but it changed the meaning of custom very much so. More people can participate in custom culture. That is excellent in my personal view, but the word is expanded to include minor cosmetic changes. And even if it's just a different color scheme, now the perception is that custom can mean $50 grips thrown on or a fully hand-built frame. So widespread there. 5, marketing abuse. Let's be real, the word custom tends to sell better than modified or accessorized as a term. So brands, shops, and sellers will use it for SEO hype and perceived value. Now the word pushed into the territory of a marketing tool less so than an actual technical description of a motorcycle. So custom used to mean you built something nobody else could. Now it just means you bought something that anyone can build. But this is where it gets muddy. Did you actually build the bike yourself or did you buy it? Does bought mean you bought the whole thing or bought the parts to create the bike? Oh boy. This brings me to my second major point. Why does everyone argue over built versus bought? Hate this. There are several reasons people argue about this, but 2 that overshadow them all like a major dark cloud when it comes to driving forces: pride and prejudice. Actually, identity and pride with some prejudice peppered in for flavor. Now, identity is one of the main reasons anyone does frickin' anything. We rarely do things that do not align with who we believe we are. So when someone's drawn to custom anything, it's because they want something that is uniquely theirs and it differentiates themselves from other, now lesser humans. Another driving force is that someone just likes the way something looks and feels, or more beyond that, they love the way they feel when they ride the machine they made, which can feed the ego, and this is how the slippery slope into douchebaggery begins.
That's because you're a douchebag.
Most folks just detest the idea of owning things everyone else has, because they believe it defines them as one of the brainless, unwashed masses of peasants who lack true original thought.
Mr. Madison, what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
But this viewpoint is obviously a delusion created by the ego. This is how you have whole cultures of millions of people that basically look the same, wearing the same they think made them special and different. This need to establish their unique snowflake identity from others, and if rooted in a super insecure person, this results in the second factor: pride. Pride usually manifests itself in beliefs like, I built this, so I'm way more authentic and real than you because you just bought yours, and I built mine with my own hands. Or I'm a real man because I have this greasy pile of that says I have blue collar skills, and you're just a with soft hands, you can't turn a wrench. Now, I never heard anyone actually say these things. Now, wait. Yes, actually I have, but most of the time, these ideas are expressed in how one interacts with those they perceive as posers who bought their bike. Now, a bigger problem occurs when that pride is totally unfounded, meaning you changed your grips and the sissy bar you got from Wish looks, I think we all know how that looks. So now we're gonna go around saying we built our motorcycle. This just makes you look impatient, insecure, prideful. You look like a talentless lying rather than just a pride. So the implied idea is that if you didn't build your bike, you're a putz, and you bought it with mommy's money. Now, technically, building a custom bike starts the second you change one thing to be more to your taste. Just one. But there's no general agreement upon which the riders of the world have convened and decided,
make it so.
Make it so. Make it so.
There's more of a scale to custom. Do I think swapping the pegs on your bike makes it a custom bike? No more so than sticking feathers up your butt makes you a chicken. So by definition, the bike is now customized, yes. But no one on earth is going to say, sick custom build, bro. I think terms like modified stock and mild modified need to find a place in our vocabulary in the custom motorcycle world, so we can bring a bit of meaning back to the words custom motorcycle. This is just creating balance in our vernacular. So if you'll notice, a number of the parts I offer are sold without a finish or paint or coating. This is so you, the owner of a bike, can receive a blank canvas to express your individual taste when it comes to building your bike. And you can truly have something customized. And if you want to see some of those parts, I'll drop a link in the description. So we have learned about the history of the word custom. We've covered the never-ending built versus bought debate. Oh my God. What truly counts as a custom motorcycle, I believe, has one of two beginnings. One that's either built from the ground up, starting with frame and engine of choice, and going on from there. Or what I see much more commonly today, one that's very intentionally modified, well beyond its factory setup to reflect a very distinct vision. It's not a bike with some accessories slapped on. No, I think it's absolutely must involve drastic and meaningful changes to the core elements, like the frame, the stance, performance, not just some bolt-on bits and bobs. But where do we draw the line? Well, we don't. You just need to avoid being an arrogant prick and start saying, this is my motorcycle. Did a lot of custom work to it that I love. And to others who have bikes they might have bought or done a few things to, be a respectful adult. Instead of, look at me, mommy, I'm the coolest snot-nosed brat on the playground, yeah. You can say, hey man, is that your motorcycle?
So tell me about your scooter.
Have you done any custom work to it? It's not hard. And every time I go to shows, I ask people like, tell me about your bike, man. It's really fun because then you get cool stories. Just be kind, be interested in other people. The world doesn't revolve around your cool custom bike builder identity. Honestly, no one gives a more than the person you imagine you are in your head. So here's how I personally handle the custom definition thing. Now let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. Please, I know someone's gonna disagree with this. I believe the key here is that what makes something custom is that all those parts come together in a visually appealing and well thought out, cohesive design, instead of just some rando pile of swap meet finds. I think a custom bike isn't just something weird or different, it's purposefully built different. Look, we all wanna ride motorcycles that we are stoked on. And if you wanna do a little accessorizing, change up a few small things, cool man, nothing wrong with that. If you see a cool custom bike you wanna buy it if it makes you happy. I think all that really matters is people are being honest about what's really happening. If you built the whole bike yourself with parts you found online from other cool builders, maybe you had your friend help you fabricate, that's cool. Personally, I try not to split hairs when it comes to something quote unquote custom. I either like the bike and you're a cool person, or you're a douche, in which case you may have a super amazing bike and I still would think it's dumb because you're a douche. Now the word custom has come such a long way. I think that what the public at large sees is custom versus what bike builders know as custom, they might be very different things. I tried to lay out a simple idea of what makes a bike classified as a custom or not. Now you're welcome to disagree with this, but at the end of the day, I know we all just want to have a bike we're proud of and enjoy riding with our friends. So let's not get hung up on terminology and subculture cues and what's hot right now. Sure, that stuff can be fun and a great way to argue with strangers on the internet, but let's keep in mind why we all started riding and modifying our motorcycles. Because we thought that was cool, fun, and it still is. And that's why the slogan of TJ Brutal Customs is, do fun faster. Maybe I should add, do fun faster and with less douche nozzlery. If you want to see the worst custom build trend I have ever seen, watch this video next.